A stochastic fiction game. This is a timed writing game. I'm going to press this button and give myself 1 hour to write a story with the outline I'm about to generate. Right there. This outline's a stochastic fiction outline. A stochastic fiction outline has story elements. These story elements I will be writing for and toward. Whoa, what's going on there? It's one of those days. That's what's going on. I copied too much. I just needed this output right here to vim this, to look at the story elements. These story elements for the stochastic fiction game today will guide my story writing. I will narrate out loud where the thought comes from to help show that not only the writing process, but be able to help me make it to the end to write a story. I've got 59 minutes left to write a story with these story elements. Setting time present, setting mode location house, conflict person versus technology, quantity of primary characters many, point of view first, tense past tense, genre romance, and format flash fiction. Well, I've already, once I saw technology and I glanced at the screen and I saw romance at the bottom and I saw flash fiction at the bottom, I've automatically thought about someone loving a robot. You could also go with, that's person versus technology conflict. Yeah, let's just go with it. This story has been written more times than I'm aware, and the amount of times I'm aware of are many. But do I want to do that? I'm going to give myself a minute to think of something else. It has to be romance, right? And they can maybe use, you can have the story about the first meeting of two people who use technology to connect together and never seen each other in real life, and then they meet. Maybe they do, and it's a robot. But it'd be present day. That'd be future. Let's just do it. I don't want to think too much today. I'll be honest, my desire to be doing this right now is about. I'm doing it, so I have some desire, but it's more out of habit than I want to do it. Which, welcome to writing. I can't get beyond, and it's got to be first person, so I got to have some sort of witty, something. I don't know what witty would be. Some dude. And just make it a dude to make it easier on my life. It doesn't matter if it's a dude. Of course, it's a romance, and they may have sex, so I don't think they're going to have sex in this story. I'll make it a dude. Give my mind that doesn't want to be doing this right now an easy in and make this person a male human. Just happens to also live in the United States of America to simplify the first person narrative even more for me. Not that it'll be good, but it'd be far worse if it wasn't that simplified. Like if it's a robot, like what do they work with the robot? How do they know this robot? Why does this robot exist? I'm not getting that one right there. It's present day. There's not a lot of robots that are walking around. Person versus technology. I already thinking now of some of those tech tools that are sort of kinky sexual devices. And have like the first person past tense narrative talking about how one was trying to use one. And that's the conflict? I don't know. Conflict, person versus technology in a romance. Like missed phone calls. And I think the easy one would be like, but they've been done 1,000 times. And that's fine. I haven't done it. Every story's been done 1,000 times. I don't think I've written a story about, I guess, fishing, I believe they called. And that would be sort of person versus technology, because you have these sort of tech tools that manipulate a person's existence, tell lies, or make them in a view that they're not, I don't know, they want to see themselves be. Who knows? And that is a tech thing. That's also person versus society, and having a bunch of data and information try to fit some definition of beauty. Yeah, I'm really I'm thinking of other things right now. My mind's wandering a little bit. It's just story seems like romance with technology, and I got 53 minutes to write this flash fiction story. Let's just go the robot route. Maybe why I don't know. Do they like it? Maybe they're at a bar. I think I don't know why. It's one of the first places I think of someone telling a story. If they're doing a narrative, like, are they in a bar telling? What is this? Their like bar story? Because most stories you tell in bars, you probably told 40 times, if not 3 different times that night. So by the time maybe you hear the 50th one, it's pretty good if they remember it. If the drunk hasn't been drinking too much while telling the story. Yeah, without in the flash fiction story, so I was lonely. What did this person do, and how do they meet the robot, though? I gotta have that. They don't buy it, do they? Maybe they work at a factory that's replacing the robots, and they get to know the robot that's going to replace them. Maybe, yeah. I mean, this thing doesn't have agency, right? It's present day. There's no robots that have, besides human robots, human machines, rather. There are no human-made machines that have agency. So I was lonely. And there it was. Maybe I got it. That's even better. Maybe this robot replaces the coworker that they were flirting with. I don't know how that's have to do with it's the end of the romance. A robot. A robot doing man, I was almost gonna have this person's name be Sue. Let's just roll the dice for gender on this one. 1, 2 female, 3, 4 male, 5, 6 they. Female. Okay. I won't genderize the first person. Maybe it is a robot. Maybe that's it. Maybe the robot from the perspective of the robot. And it's like, even though, yeah, it's fiction, so they can have agency in this. Um, and like, how would this robot talk? It'd probably talk in a voice that could be adaptable and sounds human, and not like the classic subject verb object talking about themselves in the third person. I was lonely. I'm gonna not have the so though. Maybe they're adaptable. I was lonely. My work sorting. And I guess I'd kind of have to go with a subject verb object. This will be the robot. You'll be flirting with someone. They're gonna help like do their job, and the person's gonna get pissed. I work sorting goods. At Shippers Express. Stood next to Sue, Riley. I stood next to Sue. I don't want Sue. Man, like literally, it is the first name that comes and writes out of my mind often. And I don't, maybe because I don't know any, personally don't know any Sues. So it's a name that I could use without much thought and know it's not attached to somebody else and pull in their sort of persona and existence into that name, which can happen. Yarlene. Yarlene, why not? I stood next to Yarlene. He's middle-aged. She works 2 jobs and earns enough to pay rent and food for her kid. She smiles at me. But it's silent most of the day. Sorting. She's a good sorter. She is a good sorter. No contraction. She sorts the boxes from the sacks. She moves. She gracefully. She gracefully separates, flips the packages for the barcode to be scanned along the conveyor belt. Not to be. She gracefully fixed packages to expose the barcode. She gracefully flips the packages to expose the barcode. And there it was. Okay, hold on. I don't need that. There it was. This is the robot. I got the story. It's just going to be one long big sentence, maybe a break. Maybe I should have a... She's a good sorter. Let's see. I. Let's have Yarlene be a separate sentence. The scanner above the conveyor belt. I watch Yarlene. This is probably less of a romance, though. I watch Yarlene. I like watching Yarlene's arms move. I flip packages, barcodes. Thank you. Just amplifies it all. Far behind. I like watching Yarlene's arms move. I flip packages, barcodes to face the conveyor belt. All right, so I got to have this robot flirt. This is how the robot's flirting. I was lonely. I worked sorting. I got to do past tense. I stood next to Yarlene. I stood at the head of the line of sorters, of packages. Yarlene. I stood next to Yarlene. We should end with that. That's just better. Not about. Yarlene is a middle-aged mom of two. She works two jobs and earns enough pay to rent and food for her kids. She smiles at me, but is silent most of the day, sorting. She's a good sorter. I should fix some stuff. I think I got it. I got to find a way. I mean, how would a training, this, I'm not, this thing has agency. We're going to say something has agency. It's fiction. It's stochastic fiction game, not stochastic nonfiction game. All right, now let's look at the time. I got 38 minutes. I'm feeling a little bit better. I was in a poor mood earlier. I'm getting a little bit more happier. Self doubt. I feel confident. I'm doing something. I'd be just as happy staring at a wall right now, to be honest. I've been dealing with the whole technology robot thing a lot, and it's intense. The rate it's taught, one must think nowadays to be able to keep up and be any sort of thought leader. She works two jobs and earns enough to pay rent and food for her kids. She smiles at me, but is silent most of the day sorting. She's a good sorter. She separates the boxes from the sacks. She gracefully flips the packages to expose the barcode to the scanner above the conveyor belt. I like watching Arlene's arms move. I flip packages. I flip package barcodes to face the conveyor belt. I flip packages barcodes to face the conveyor belt scanner. Oh, to face the conveyor belt and not the scanner. Yeah. Um, I flip barcodes to face the conveyor belt and not the scanner. I watch her peer at me. I watch her smile when she flips the packages. To face the scanner. She looks at me. Wow, I like that. This is not necessarily romance, though, right? I guess it's romantic I don't know. I'm just going to write what I'm going to write. I flip package barcodes to face the conveyor belt, not the scanner. I watch her smile when she flips the packages to face the canner. She looked at me. Oh man, I can't. Past tense. Let's go look at the. Excuse me for the deep breaths. Story elements. Past tense. First person, yes. Flash fiction, yes. In a house. A warehouse. Oh, fudge, man. I think, so that idea of the robot flipping packages, now that it comes to mind, and memories of data that I've consumed during past days, and will be found in the bookmarks that I save. So this thought will connect with that data, because these thoughts will also be committed to the same source code repository of my mind. I seen a video of an Amazon, I think it was Amazon robot, that looked human-like. I'm sure they're just trying to train this being to do different human movements in different ways, but also serves them a purpose of of sorting packages. And I think they were flipping them too. And so that's where this idea probably originates from, as far as the story and the scene. And yeah, totally. So that was the piece of media that I seen earlier, and the fact that this was randomly selected, I pulled from that, and that's sort of where I'm building up the scene now. But now I go back to setting in its house. Fudge. I don't want to change it. What time is it? I don't got time. I mean, it's a warehouse. I'll fail myself. I could imagine being inside of a house too. Because that'd be even better though, right? Because then at the end you could fall in love with the thing. But then this is a flash fiction story. And it's a little bit more relevant, I suppose, right? Like, maybe love will be the last thing that it takes from us. And was it taking it from us? No, we're giving it to it. We are the blame. We just want things too fast, and I'm just as guilty. Yarlene is a middle-aged mom of two. She works 2 jobs and earns enough to pay rent and food for her kid. She smiles at me but is silent most of the day sorting. It's going to be the warehouse. It's their house. It's the robot's house. That's how I'll justify it. Inside my house. Home. That's yes. It's the robot's home, because it technically is. Therefore, that I'm going to use that excuse, that reason to say that I've met this sort of, I guess, parameter. I still got to make it past tense. I think I'm getting there. I got 30 minutes, so it's house. It's the robot's house. My house. Welcome home. Dinner at home. Yes. I feel like I've at least written around. Okay. Yarlene was a middle. Oh, she leaves. Yes. She worked 2 jobs and earned enough to pay rent and food for her kid. She smiled at me, but was silent most of the day sorting packages. Got to have some complete. This is okay. I still should be napping right now, or staring at a wall. I'd probably be just as happy, if not more happy. I can at least clear some of this thought out of my mind. She was a good sorter. She was a good sorter. She separated the boxes from the sacks. She gracefully flipped the packages to expose the barcode to the scanner above the conveyor belt. She stood next to me. Wait. I already said that. So I liked watching Arlene's arms move. I flipped packages. I liked watching. I liked past tense. I watched. No, that's agency. Or it's just a mindless thing. I don't know what I meant by that right there. Just mumbling words, trying to get through, making everything past tense. I watched her smile when she the packages faced the scanner. She looks at me. She looked at me. I watched her smile when she flipped the packages to face the scanner. She would look at me. And sometimes smile. Yarlene said to me often, "Want to have a lunch date?" We would sit in the lunchroom, and I would watch her eat. She would talk about her kid. I don't know why I said kid at first, but this is sort of, I guess you're loading in the memory of this person and starting to actually attach meaning to their. Yeah, it's a thing. A thought that I just said in words that came out mumbled and probably was shitty to begin with anyway. So that's why it came out mumbled. Yarlene said to me often, "Want to have a lunch date?" She would sit in the lunchroom and I would watch her eat. She talked about what's the gender of this kid? Let's roll the dice. 6. Let's just make it a name like the child. Sam. She talked about Sam, her child. We would sit in a lunchroom. She talked about Sam, her child. Blocking a goal. Volcano science. just an afterthought. She talked about Sam, her child, blocked a goal in the volcano science project. She ate club sandwiches and pasta dishes most days. She would offer me a bite, then laugh and say, "You have no mouth." When she left my home, she arrived at my home at 8 in the morning and left at 5 at night. I thought of her every night after she left. And I compiled my day to a report to send to my parents. That's it. I think I'm done. I mean, almost. Not dinner date at home. Home. What day is it? Work day. That way I don't have to say year. Work day 23. No, we want to do it more than that. 500. I don't know how to spell 100 right now. Is that 100? I think so. 500. I'm going to have it all hyphens too. Man, I'm 556. Why do I have it capitalized? Workday 556. That's a hyphen. She left. Yarlene came to my house. How do I do this without starting to go present tense? Because it's past tense. And I don't want to like switch to present tense. Like workday 3008, I still think of her. That's what I want to write. I didn't mean to have that in my mock voice. That is my mock voice almost. I got 18 minutes left to figure this out and read it aloud and be done and move on with life. It's flash fiction after all. Maybe it tells a story. I think I at least fit in all the elements and I'm working on how to end this in past tense, but give some sort of show of a distant time. I thought of her today. Workday 3008. I work alone. Well, I'm done. Yeah. Let's not overthink it. It's either, I mean, do I want to call it home? Why not? It'll at least help me justify. It is the robot's home. Necessarily a house? Well, what home is not a house? I guess your home moves around. Um, let's just read this aloud and be done. I got 16 minutes left, but why use time when you don't feel like? For today's stochastic fiction game, written with these story elements: setting time present, setting main location house, conflict person versus technology, quantity of primary characters mini, point of view first, tense past tense, genre romance, format flash fiction. These are the words and these are the rankings that I'll give to it afterwards, the ratings. They're always a work in progress and sometimes it has typos. Such is the nature of creation. But let's read this story aloud with the last 15 minutes of this game. The story is called Home. Home. I was lonely. I stood next to Yarlene. I stood at the head of the line of the package sorters. I stood next to Yarlene. Yarlene was a middle-aged mom of one. She had 2 jobs and earned enough to pay rent and food for her kid. She smiled at me but was silent most of the day sorting packages. She was a good sorter. She separated the boxes from the sacks. She gracefully flipped the packages to expose the barcode to the scanner above the conveyor belt. I liked watching Arlene's arms move. I flipped packages, barcodes to face the conveyor belt and not the scanner. I watched her smile when she flipped the packages to face the scanner. She would look at me, and sometimes Yarlene said often to me, "Want to have lunch date?" We would sit in my lunchroom, and I would watch her eat. She talked about Sam, her child, blocked a goal, and about their volcano science project. She ate club sandwiches and pasta dishes most days. She would offer a bit, then laugh and say, "You have no mouth." She arrived at my home at 8 in the morning and left at 5 at night. I thought of her every night after she left and compiled my day into a report to send to my parents. Workday 556 was the last day Yarlene came to my home to sort with me. Workday 3008 I work alone. I thought of her every day. It's a story. Do I want to rate it? Of course I do. That's the point. It's a game. Write the story using thought and words. I don't hate this. I'll rate it a 3. It could become something. It could become something. Stochastic. Let's get this right. I'm going to type. Oh, I got to go story. I could copy and paste, but I've got 12 minutes left. I can type a little bit more. Stochastic. Finish that out. What's the first F8? Oop, I got 2 that are F8. F8A. End with the story created and rated. That is the stochastic fiction game for today. Either for training ourselves or trying to be free of some sort of robot love. Be that human and go create with your imagination. It's one thing you still have, it makes you unique.